everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we're talking a little bit about going to sleep or not being able to sleep.
That's right. We are having some sleeping problems, and we're actually going to check out a couple of words related to this topic right now on Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
Okay, so the first word is actually the technical word that describes being unable to sleep. It's called insomnia.
Right. So if you have insomnia, it means that you can't fall asleep. You can't sleep.
Okay, so this is a pretty serious condition. For example, if you have insomnia and you don't sleep for 3 or 4 nights, you're not going to do very well at work, right?
Right, or if you're studying, you're tired at school, you can't concentrate, so it's a very big problem.
What's that other word, though? We have insomnia, but we also have another interesting disorder.
Right. If somebody is able to sleep but walks while they're sleeping, that person is called a sleepwalker.
That's right. And you don't actually just have to walk to be a sleepwalker.
Right.
You can do any number of strange things like basically acting like you're awake when you're not.
Exactly. So some people get up and walk, actually go outside. Some people get dressed. Some people even go downstairs and cook.
Yeah, that's right. And the worst is the people who eat because they gain weight and they don't know why.
Exactly. So sleepwalking is what you do. And if you do this, you're called a sleepwalker.
Okay, sleepwalk is the verb. Sleepwalker is the noun or the person.
All right, so we've taken a look at 2 words that we're going to find in our dialogue today. Why don't we go now and listen to the dialogue for the first time?
Alex, what's up with you? You look dreadful.
Hey, Jill. I don't know. I've been having trouble sleeping these past few weeks. I usually lie in bed for hours trying to get to sleep. I've tried stretching and different breathing techniques before going to bed. I've tried eating and not eating different foods. I've even tried counting sheep. And then, when I finally get to sleep, I have these really disturbing nightmares. So I usually wake up in a panic and more tired than before I went to sleep.
Wow. Maybe you should get that checked out. Maybe you're stressed?
Just take some sedatives. Works for me. Every so often, having some melatonin on hand helps me when I have trouble sleeping. It works on all kinds of sleeping disorders. It's the stuff pilots use to regulate their sleeping patterns.
I heard of that. But does that apply to Alex's situation?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Sounds like he only has transient insomnia since it's a recent thing, so taking melatonin should do the trick.
But shouldn't he be looking into why it's been happening?
Well, aren't you the little psychologist? Our buddy's having trouble sleeping. It's easy and curable. It's not something freakish like if he was a sleepwalker.
Well, there's that too.
All right, we're back. So obviously this person not only has insomnia, but also has nightmares, sleepwalks, a mess.
That's right. And you can tell when someone hasn't been sleeping well. They have that look like there's bags under their eyes or they just look really tired. And so the friend here says, Alex, you look dreadful.
That's right, dreadful. So this is an adjective and it's a way to describe someone that looks terrible. You look horrible. You look tired. You look sleepy.
That's right. So this is not a compliment. This is something that you say when you're worried about someone. So for example, if someone's really, really tired, you say, you look dreadful. Or if someone is wearing very dirty clothes, they don't look like they went home yesterday, you say, oh, what's wrong? You look dreadful.
Right. I think you can also use it to describe objects or maybe food, right? Mm-hmm. This lasagna is dreadful.
It means it's very bad.
Right.
And you don't want to say that to the person who cooked it, of course.
Exactly. All right. So the person, obviously, because is suffering from insomnia, looks dreadful. And he was explaining what he does to try to fall asleep. For example, counting sheep, stretching, and he also said that he tried different breathing techniques.
Okay, so basically a technique is an approach to something, a kind of method. But in this case, we're talking about breathing techniques. So for some people, one breathing technique is breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth. Like that. So that's one kind of technique.
So a technique, as you say, is a way of doing something.
Yes.
So breathing techniques are different ways of breathing. So maybe you will relax, or maybe you'll fall asleep, things like this.
Exactly. It's one of those things that you might learn about in a yoga class, for example. There's different breathing techniques.
Right, and you can combine techniques with other words as well, adding the ing. For example, you have walking techniques, maybe to put less stress on your knees, or running techniques, swimming techniques. I think there's a technique for almost everything.
Just about anything you can do, there's a technique for it, I think.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and well, moving on, he was talking about his nightmares, and he described his nightmares as disturbing. He has disturbing nightmares.
Okay, well, I think this is an important word to cover here, Marco, because we've heard the verb to disturb before. Like, I'm sorry to disturb you. It means I'm sorry to bother you. But disturbing is an adjective. It describes something that makes me very uncomfortable, right?
Right.
So, for example, a lot of times in the news, we see very disturbing images, car accidents or fires or bombs. And what's disturbing is when you see human beings who have been hurt. So, images that make you really uncomfortable or sad, these are disturbing.
Exactly. So disturbing nightmares are nightmares that are not very pleasant. They make him scared, maybe, or uncomfortable.
Right, like a dream, for example, where your parents die. It's pretty disturbing.
Exactly. All right, and well, one of his friends recommended, you know what? Stop with all of this. Just take some sedatives.
Okay, so sedatives are a kind of medicine that help a person relax or that help make a person tired.
Right. So I think it comes from the verb to sedate.
Yes.
And basically that is to calm down, to tranquilize.
That's right. So in this case, we're talking about a person, but you can also give an animal sedatives. For example, if you want to take your dog on an airplane, the dog needs to relax, you give it some sedatives.
Exactly. And I think when he mentioned a specific name of a sedative, it's melatonin.
That's right. So melatonin is a chemical that our bodies naturally produce that help calm us down. And so a lot of pharmaceutical companies or drug companies sell melatonin in a pill form. It's a chemical that helps you relax.
Exactly. So obviously if you take melatonin, you're going to feel sleepy, or you're going to be very relaxed, and you're going to fall asleep a lot easier.
Well, hopefully.
Hopefully. That's right. So, and well, the whole thing that we've been talking about, insomnia, sleepwalking, these are called sleeping disorders.
Right, or you might also hear the term sleep disorders. They mean problems with sleeping. So people who either cannot fall asleep, or people who have bad dreams, or people who sleepwalk.
Exactly. So a disorder is something of an illness or a condition that is not normal. So for example, as you said, a sleeping disorder or a sleep disorder, it means that you're not able to sleep properly or normally.
But there are other kinds of disorders, right?
Right. I guess many people have heard of eating disorders.
Okay, so that's basically people who do not eat like everyone else.
Exactly. So that's what happens with a disorder. All right, so we've taken a look at a lot of vocab. Now it's time for us to take a look at Fluency Builder. But before that, why don't we listen to the dialogue again?
Alex, what's up with you? You look dreadful.
Hey, Jill. I don't know. I've been having trouble sleeping these past few weeks. I usually lie in bed for hours trying to get to sleep. I've tried stretching and different breathing techniques before going to bed. I've tried eating and not eating different foods. I've even tried counting sheep. And then, when I finally get to sleep, I have these really disturbing nightmares. So I usually wake up in a panic and more tired than before I went to sleep.
Wow. Maybe you should get that checked out. Maybe you're stressed?
Just take some sedatives. Works for me. Every so often, having some melatonin on hand helps me when I have trouble sleeping. It works on all kinds of sleeping disorders. It's the stuff pilots use to regulate their sleeping patterns.
I heard of that. But does that apply to Alex's situation?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Sounds like he only has transient insomnia since it's a recent thing, so taking melatonin should do the trick.
But shouldn't he be looking into why it's been happening?
Well, aren't you the little psychologist? Our buddy's having trouble sleeping. It's easy and curable. It's not something freakish like if he was a sleepwalker.
Well, there's that too.
All right, we're back. So now we have 3 main phrases for Fluency Builder. Why don't we start with the first one?
Okay, so you heard in today's dialogue an interesting phrase. I don't know if it exists in other languages, but in English we say when you're trying to fall asleep, there's a good technique to help you do so.
Mm-hmm.
You count sheep.
Yeah, I think you see it in cartoons all the time. A person is sleeping, and over that cartoon's head is a little cloud, and you see sheep jumping over a fence, right?
So, yeah, basically there's a fence, and you say 1, 2,
Right.
3, and the process of counting helps relax a person.
And then you fall asleep.
Right.
So counting sheep, I guess you're not literally out in a field counting sheep. You're just imagining sheep in your head, and you're trying to fall asleep.
That's right, counting sheep.
All right. And, well, one of his friends recommended that maybe he should go to a doctor. And Jill said that by saying, maybe you should get that checked out.
Okay, so to get something checked out, to get it checked out, this means to have a professional give you a suggestion or to have a professional look at something.
Exactly. So maybe you should get examined. Maybe you should go to the doctor.
This isn't just about disorders, right? I mean, what if I have a sore tooth? I could say this.
Right. So if you have a toothache, I would recommend maybe you should get that checked out by my dentist.
Right. Or maybe if you have a bad rash, you know, your skin is very red. I say, Marco, I think you should get that checked out by a doctor.
Exactly. So to get something checked, to get something examined by a doctor or a professional. All right. And the last phrase that we have for you.
So the last phrase we have today comes from a suggestion at the end. The friend suggests taking melatonin. And he says, listen, taking melatonin should do the trick.
Right. So if you end a phrase by saying that should do the trick, basically you're saying that should solve your problem. That should help you.
Exactly. So the trick, you don't have to think about what the trick is. It's just a way of saying it should fix your problem. So for example, when someone is fixing my car and they have one more thing to do and it's finished, he says, the car mechanic might say, that should do the trick.
Right.
That means problem solved.
Or maybe you want to hang a picture on your wall. So somebody puts a nail in the wall and that should do the trick, and maybe that'll hold up the painting.
Done.
Okay. So that's a way of saying that should solve the problem. This should be the solution. That should be all.
Okay.
Okay, so why don't we go back and listen to the dialogue one last time.
Alex, what's up with you? You look dreadful.
Hey, Jill. I don't know. I've been having trouble sleeping these past few weeks. I usually lie in bed for hours trying to get to sleep. I've tried stretching and different breathing techniques before going to bed. I've tried eating and not eating different foods. I've even tried counting sheep. And then, when I finally get to sleep, I have these really disturbing nightmares. So I usually wake up in a panic and more tired than before I went to sleep.
Wow. Maybe you should get that checked out. Maybe you're stressed?
Just take some sedatives. Works for me. Every so often, having some melatonin on hand helps me when I have trouble sleeping. It works on all kinds of sleeping disorders. It's the stuff pilots use to regulate their sleeping patterns.
I heard of that. But does that apply to Alex's situation?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Sounds like he only has transient insomnia since it's a recent thing, so taking melatonin should do the trick.
But shouldn't he be looking into why it's been happening?
Well, aren't you the little psychologist? Our buddy's having trouble sleeping. It's easy and curable. It's not something freakish like if he was a sleepwalker.
Well, there's that too.
right, we're back. So talking about dreaming, nightmares, insomnia, all of this, what do you do if you can't fall asleep?
I don't really have this problem personally because
fall asleep anywhere.
I could fall asleep anywhere, anytime.
I've heard some people take like warm milk before going to sleep.
Yes, some people take milk. Although I also heard that dairy products before bedtime can make you have nightmares.
Oh, really?
If you eat cheese before bed.
I've heard that as well. I've heard that if you have seafood before bed, you'll have nightmares as well. But actually, have you ever had a dream when you are doing something and you wake up in the middle of that?
Yes.
I remember once I was dreaming, I was drinking a soda. And all of a sudden I woke up and I had my hand like in the air, like doing the action of me actually drinking the soda.
Actually, sometimes this happens to me when I'm falling asleep. I imagine I'm on a bike or something and I start to feel myself moving my legs. And I wake up and I'm like, wait, what am I doing? So the brain is very strange, I think, especially in those times when you're kind of asleep and you're kind of awake.
Also, when you wake up suddenly, I don't know if other people have experienced this, but you feel like you're falling or something.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you just wake up like with a shake.
Yeah, your body moves. Yeah, it's really
very scary. Your heart starts to beat. I don't know why that happens, though.
It's unusual. Well, we're curious to know what your sleep habits are. Do you have a hard time sleeping, or are you like me? It's very easy for you to fall asleep.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Fall asleep. Go to sleep. A drug that calms or relaxes someone. Sedative. A dream that caused horror. Nightmare. The regular time of sleeping. Sleeping pattern. Accomplish the desired task. Do the trick. People who have a medical disorder of the sleep. Sleeping disorder. Fall asleep. Get to sleep.
Let's try that faster.
A dream that caused horror. Nightmare. Fall asleep. Go to sleep. A drug that calms or relaxes someone. Sedative. The regular time of sleeping. Sleeping pattern. People who have a medical disorder of the sleep. Sleeping disorder. Accomplish the desired task. Do the trick. Fall asleep. Get to sleep.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Get to sleep. Sometimes I need to put on some music in order to get to sleep. Get to sleep. I got to sleep really late last night because I couldn't stop worrying about my presentation today. Get to sleep. I couldn't get to sleep until after midnight. Nightmare. I've had the same nightmare night after night for the past month. Nightmare. I woke up from my nightmare just before I found out what was behind the door. Nightmare. I never have dreams, but every so often I get nightmares. Sedative. They gave me a sedative before I went into surgery. Sedative. I often use a mild sedative in order to calm myself down when I get anxious. Sedative. I've heard that some people put sedatives in other people's drinks at bars in order to rob them. Sleeping pattern. My sleeping patterns have been all over the place recently. Sleeping pattern. I have a consistent sleeping pattern and I intend to stick to it. Sleeping pattern. I managed to regulate my sleeping pattern so now I can't even sleep in if I wanted to. Do the trick. If you start getting tired while studying, drinking some coffee should do the trick. Do the trick. Just add some more salt to the soup and that should do the trick. Do the trick. If you turn up the volume of the microphone a bit, it should do the trick.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Fall asleep. Go to sleep. A drug that calms or relaxes someone. Sedative. A dream that caused horror. Nightmare. The regular time of sleeping. Sleeping pattern. Accomplish the desired task. Do the trick. People who have a medical disorder of the sleep. Sleeping disorder. Fall asleep. Get to sleep.
Let's try that faster.
A dream that caused horror. Nightmare. Fall asleep. Go to sleep. A drug that calms or relaxes someone. Sedative. The regular time of sleeping. Sleeping pattern. People who have a medical disorder of the sleep. Sleeping disorder. Accomplish the desired task. Do the trick. Fall asleep. Get to sleep.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Get to sleep. Sometimes I need to put on some music in order to get to sleep. Get to sleep. I got to sleep really late last night because I couldn't stop worrying about my presentation today. Get to sleep. I couldn't get to sleep until after midnight. Nightmare. I've had the same nightmare night after night for the past month. Nightmare. I woke up from my nightmare just before I found out what was behind the door. Nightmare. I never have dreams, but every so often I get nightmares. Sedative. They gave me a sedative before I went into surgery. Sedative. I often use a mild sedative in order to calm myself down when I get anxious. Sedative. I've heard that some people put sedatives in other people's drinks at bars in order to rob them. Sleeping pattern. My sleeping patterns have been all over the place recently. Sleeping pattern. I have a consistent sleeping pattern and I intend to stick to it. Sleeping pattern. I managed to regulate my sleeping pattern so now I can't even sleep in if I wanted to. Do the trick. If you start getting tired while studying, drinking some coffee should do the trick. Do the trick. Just add some more salt to the soup and that should do the trick. Do the trick. If you turn up the volume of the microphone a bit, it should do the trick.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Fall asleep. Go to sleep. A drug that calms or relaxes someone. Sedative. A dream that caused horror. Nightmare. The regular time of sleeping. Sleeping pattern. Accomplish the desired task. Do the trick. People who have a medical disorder of the sleep. Sleeping disorder. Fall asleep. Get to sleep.
Let's try that faster.
A dream that caused horror. Nightmare. Fall asleep. Go to sleep. A drug that calms or relaxes someone. Sedative. The regular time of sleeping. Sleeping pattern. People who have a medical disorder of the sleep. Sleeping disorder. Accomplish the desired task. Do the trick. Fall asleep. Get to sleep.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Get to sleep. Sometimes I need to put on some music in order to get to sleep. Get to sleep. I got to sleep really late last night because I couldn't stop worrying about my presentation today. Get to sleep. I couldn't get to sleep until after midnight. Nightmare. I've had the same nightmare night after night for the past month. Nightmare. I woke up from my nightmare just before I found out what was behind the door. Nightmare. I never have dreams, but every so often I get nightmares. Sedative. They gave me a sedative before I went into surgery. Sedative. I often use a mild sedative in order to calm myself down when I get anxious. Sedative. I've heard that some people put sedatives in other people's drinks at bars in order to rob them. Sleeping pattern. My sleeping patterns have been all over the place recently. Sleeping pattern. I have a consistent sleeping pattern and I intend to stick to it. Sleeping pattern. I managed to regulate my sleeping pattern, so now I can't even sleep in if I wanted to. Do the trick. If you start getting tired while studying, drinking some coffee should do the trick. Do the trick. Just add some more salt to the soup and that should do the trick. Do the trick. If you turn up the volume of the microphone a bit, it should do the trick.
Mechanic. A mechanic is someone who repairs and maintains machines, especially vehicles like cars, trucks, and motorcycles. Mechanics play an important role in keeping vehicles running safely and efficiently. Without mechanics, people would struggle to travel from one place to another, and businesses that depend on transportation would face serious problems. A mechanic's job requires both knowledge and skill. They must understand how engines, brakes, electrical systems, and other parts of a vehicle work together. When something is broken, they use special tools to find the problem and fix it. Sometimes, the issue is small, like a loose wire or a flat tire, while other times it is a big problem, such as a damaged engine or a failing transmission. Mechanics must be patient and careful, because even a small mistake can cause serious trouble for the driver. Mechanics work in different places. Some work in repair shops, while others work at car dealerships or service stations. There are also mobile mechanics who travel to different locations to fix vehicles. In busy cities, mechanics are always needed because people rely on their cars every day. In rural areas, mechanics may also repair tractors, farm equipment, and heavy machinery. Some mechanics specialize in certain types of vehicles, such as race cars, electric cars, or motorcycles. Others focus on specific systems like air conditioning, suspension, or fuel injection. No matter where they work, mechanics must stay updated with the latest technology. Modern cars have computers and advanced electronics, so mechanics need to learn how to use diagnostic machines to find and fix problems quickly. Being a mechanic is not just about fixing cars. It is also about helping people. When a person's car breaks down, they may feel stressed or worried, especially if they need to get to work or take their children to school. A good mechanic listens carefully to the customer, explains the problem clearly, and provides a solution that fits their needs. Sometimes, mechanics have to give bad news, like telling someone that their car is too damaged to repair, or that the repair will be very expensive. In these moments, honesty and kindness are important. A skilled mechanic builds trust with customers, and over time, people return to the same mechanic because they feel confident in their work. Mechanics also give advice on how to take care of a car properly, so that it lasts longer and does not need expensive repairs in the future. To become a skilled mechanic, a person needs both education and experience. Many mechanics start by learning the basics in school or at a technical training center. Some people take courses where they study how engines work, how to repair different parts of a car, and how to use the right tools. Others learn by working as apprentices under experienced mechanics. This hands-on training is important because fixing a car is not just about knowledge. It is about practice. A mechanic must be able to use tools properly, recognize different car parts, and understand how everything fits together. Some mechanics also get special certifications to prove their skills, which helps them find better jobs and earn more money. A mechanic's job can be challenging because every day brings new problems to solve. Sometimes, a mechanic has to fix a simple issue, like replacing a battery, changing oil, or fixing a tire. Other times, the job is much more complicated. If an engine stops working, the mechanic must take it apart and check each piece carefully. This can take hours or even days, depending on the problem. In modern cars, many systems are controlled by computers, so mechanics also need to learn how to use advanced diagnostic tools. These tools connect to the car's computer and help identify issues. Even with these tools, solving some problems requires patience and experience. A mechanic must think logically, test different solutions, and sometimes work in a team to find the best way to fix the vehicle. Working as a mechanic is a hands-on job that requires physical strength and endurance. Mechanics often spend long hours standing, bending, and lifting heavy parts. They work with their hands all day, using wrenches, screwdrivers, and power tools. Sometimes they have to crawl under cars or squeeze into small spaces to reach certain parts. Because they work with oil, grease, and other chemicals, mechanics often get their hands and clothes dirty. Safety is also very important in this job. Mechanics must be careful when handling sharp tools, hot engines, and electrical systems. They wear gloves, safety glasses, and sometimes ear protection to prevent injuries. Even with precautions, minor cuts and bruises are common in this profession. Despite the challenges, many mechanics find their job rewarding. Fixing a broken car and making it run smoothly again gives a sense of accomplishment. Mechanics also enjoy working with their hands, solving problems, and learning about new technology. Some mechanics open their own repair shops and become business owners. Others specialize in certain areas, such as luxury cars, electric vehicles, or heavy-duty trucks. As technology changes, mechanics must continue learning to keep up with new car models and repair techniques. The automotive industry is always evolving, and mechanics who stay updated with the latest advancements have more job opportunities and can earn a good living. Mechanics do more than just repair cars. They are problem solvers who must understand how machines work and why they break down. When a car has an issue, a mechanic must carefully inspect it, listen to the customer's description of the problem, and then use tools and knowledge to find the cause. Sometimes, a mechanic can tell what is wrong just by listening to the engine or feeling how the car moves. Other times, they have to use special diagnostic machines that connect to the car's computer. These machines give codes that help mechanics identify specific issues. However, even with technology, a mechanic's experience and intuition play a big role in finding the exact problem and fixing it correctly. There are many different types of mechanics. Some work in general repair shops, where they fix all kinds of vehicles, from small cars to large trucks. Others specialize in certain types of vehicles, like motorcycles, buses, or heavy machinery. Some mechanics focus on specific parts of a vehicle. For example, an engine specialist only works on engines, while a transmission expert repairs and replaces the system that helps a car change gears. There are also auto electricians who handle a car's electrical system, including lights, batteries, and computer systems. Another specialized area is working with air conditioning and heating systems to ensure that cars stay comfortable in different weather conditions. With the rise of modern technology, cars are becoming more advanced, and so is the work of a mechanic. In the past, most car problems were mechanical, but today, many issues are related to computers and sensors. Hybrid and electric cars, for example, have very different systems compared to gasoline-powered cars. Mechanics who work with these vehicles must learn how to handle high-voltage batteries and advanced computer software. Some cars now have self-driving features, automatic braking, and other smart technologies that require new skills to repair and maintain. Because of these changes, mechanics must continue to learn throughout their careers. Many take extra courses or attend workshops to stay updated with the latest developments in the automotive industry. Customer service is also an important part of a mechanic's job. A good mechanic not only repairs cars, but also communicates well with customers. Some people do not understand how cars work, so mechanics must explain problems in a way that is easy to understand. They must be honest about the repairs needed and give customers options when possible. A trustworthy mechanic builds strong relationships with customers, and people often return to the same shop if they receive good service. In some cases, mechanics also have to deal with difficult customers who may be unhappy with repair costs or the time it takes to fix their car. In such situations, patience and professionalism are essential to maintaining a good reputation and running a successful business. The job of a mechanic is challenging, but it can also be very rewarding. Every day is different, and each repair brings a new challenge to solve. Mechanics take pride in their work, knowing that they help keep people safe on the road. Whether fixing a small problem or rebuilding an entire engine, their work is essential for transportation and daily life. Many mechanics enjoy working with their hands and find satisfaction in solving complex issues. Some even turn their passion for cars into a lifelong career, constantly improving their skills and keeping up with the latest technology in the automotive world. Being a mechanic is more than just a job. It is a profession that requires skill, patience, and a deep understanding of how vehicles work. Every day, mechanics face new challenges, whether it is diagnosing an engine problem, fixing a car's electrical system, or replacing worn-out parts. They must stay focused, work carefully, and ensure that the vehicle is safe to drive. A small mistake in a repair could lead to a dangerous situation on the road. That is why mechanics take their work seriously and follow strict guidelines to make sure everything is fixed correctly. The tools that mechanics use are an important part of their work. From wrenches and screwdrivers to advanced diagnostic machines, every tool has a purpose. Some tools are used for basic repairs, like changing tires or replacing brakes, while others are designed for more complex tasks, such as fixing the engine or transmission. Mechanics must know how to use these tools properly and safely. In many cases, they also need to stay updated with the latest technology. As cars become more advanced, new tools and equipment are introduced to the industry. Mechanics often attend training sessions and workshops to learn how to use these new tools effectively. In addition to their technical skills, mechanics must also be problem solvers. Sometimes a vehicle may have an issue that is difficult to diagnose. The car might make a strange noise, run poorly, or have an electrical problem that does not show up on diagnostic machines. In such cases, mechanics must use their knowledge and experience to figure out what is wrong. They may test different parts, check for hidden issues, and try multiple solutions before finding the right fix. This ability to think critically and find solutions is what makes a great mechanic stand out. The automotive industry is constantly changing, and mechanics must keep up with these changes. In the past, most cars ran on gasoline or diesel, but now there are electric and hybrid vehicles that require special training to repair. Many modern cars are equipped with complex computer systems that control everything from the engine to the air conditioning. Mechanics must learn how to work with these systems, using advanced software and specialized tools. Some mechanics choose to specialize in new technologies, such as electric car maintenance or automated driving systems. This allows them to stay ahead in the industry and continue providing valuable services. The work environment of a mechanic can be demanding. They often spend long hours standing, bending, and lifting heavy parts. The workshop can be noisy, with the sounds of engines running, tools being used, and people talking. In some cases, mechanics may work outdoors or in tight spaces, such as underneath a vehicle. The job also requires physical strength and endurance, as well as attention to detail. Despite these challenges, Many mechanics enjoy their work because it is hands-on and rewarding. Fixing a car and seeing it run smoothly again gives them a sense of accomplishment. Some mechanics choose to open their own repair shops and become business owners. Running a workshop requires more than just technical skills. It also involves managing finances, ordering parts, and providing good customer service. Mechanics who run their own businesses must be organized and responsible, ensuring that their customers receive high-quality service. Building a good reputation is essential, as people will return to a shop they trust. Word of mouth and online reviews can help attract more customers, making the business successful. The future of mechanics is exciting, with new technologies and innovations shaping the industry. As more people switch to electric vehicles, there will be a growing demand for mechanics who can repair and maintain them. Self-driving cars and smart technology will also create new opportunities and challenges in the field. Mechanics who continue to learn and adapt will be able to stay ahead and remain valuable in the industry. Whether working in a small repair shop, a large dealership, or a high-tech automotive center, mechanics will always be needed to keep vehicles running smoothly and safely. At its core, being a mechanic is about solving problems, helping people, and keeping the world moving. It is a career that requires dedication, hard work, and a passion for fixing things. Those who choose this path can enjoy a rewarding profession that combines skill, technology, and hands-on experience. Whether fixing a broken engine, repairing an air conditioning system, or upgrading a vehicle with the latest technology, mechanics play a vital role in transportation and modern life.